Sure shot, baby!
So, good day, everyone. We're here for another episode of the DVD show. So, for today, we have one of the best shooters in the UAAP during his time and also in the PBA, as he recorded the most threes made in a game without a miss, if I'm not mistaken. His name is Von Pessumal. Thank you, Von, for joining me here on the podcast for today.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Yeah. So how's practice been like for you guys, or how have you been doing, especially now the cases have been rising in this past few weeks?
Well, I think it's obviously everything is a little bit different now with COVID, right? So we had to adjust. So, we can't really do 5-on-5. It's more individual workouts. We're a couple to a group lang. We're assigned a time, and we have to be in that time, clock in, clock out. You can't really do stay longer, stay to go before. So it's a little different, but at least there's we have something going on, and San Miguel, we test as often as possible, I think. So, medyo ano kami doon. I feel grateful and fortunate na there are precautions taken with training.
So kamusta naman yung extra work? Like, do you still get to do extra work on your own? Because I think your time's limited lang in the gym for the first for now, like for the first few months bago mag-bubble or mag-start yung season.
Yeah, that's a good question because I'm sure if almost all professional players have this kind of like work routine, work ethic routine na parang kailangan ng extra work, diba? Aside from the actual practice they do. So with me, I'm fortunate that where I live right now, we have courts available that I can go in and get some work in, and I invested already in like a home gym. So bumili ako ng mga kettlebell and all that
Mm-mm.
stuff. So I have all that stuff in my gym. So I don't have to leave my place to work out. So I'm sure all the other players did the same.
Uh,
Yun lang, kailangan mag-adjust talaga. It's different time now.
Okay. So are you concerned naman, or is your team concerned, or organization, on the rising cases na baka ma-delay yung start ng season, and how are you guys adjusting to it?
Of course, it's a concern. I think even for non-athletes who are
Mm.
just working, or even for anybody, right? Medyo nakakatakot, diba? But
Mm.
um, we're the PBA is trying their very best to keep it going, right? And it's the longest Asian basketball league, I believe, in
Yeah.
the diba? So I think it's really important to keep it going, but at the same time, I think they're also thinking about the health and safety measures, diba? So I think right now, not really much to talk about with that, because it's really up to the government, diba, muna, and how they deal with the lockdown, if there's a lockdown, or if how. So we're kind of on standby also on what we need to do.
Yeah. At least continue na lang practicing because you never know what can really happen. So
True,
at
true, yeah.
least, yeah, yung chemistry nyo rin na-develop pa din kahit clusters lang yung groups.
Yeah.
So yung draft, it happened last week, and you guys didn't have a pick for the first two rounds. So I think you guys started drafting third round until sixth or seventh. I think you still selected people. So kamusta naman yung draftees nyo, and uh, do they really have a shot also to make the team, or I don't know, ilang roster spots na lang ba yung natitira with San Miguel now?
Um, I think that's way above my pay grade, man. I really don't know what the management wants to do with the roster. But I trust them. They put together a team that wins, is in contention for a championship every conference. So I trust their decision making. Na they're gonna make the right decision with regards to the roster. With regards to the rookies, I've seen a couple of them play. Yung iba sa UAP yata, or sa yeah, even MPBL.
Yeah.
But I think it's really hard to gauge if unless you're really there with them in the court and you see them play 5-on-5, and you see how what their skill set is like, and their how they carry themselves. But it's so hard for anyone to judge based on a video or highlights, or kahit Zoom interview or
Mahirap.
whatnot. It's hard, diba? So um, I think I really have to wait till for me to comment about them to see them up close, and play against them and talk to them. So yeah.
How about the draft naman? It was really deep, even if the Philams, some of the great Philams, they weren't eligible to get drafted for this season. What are your thoughts on the whole draft class? And I'm curious to see, like, since you know some of the players at least in the first two rounds, who do you think might be a steal? Like what Aaron Black was last season, where he was 18th overall and he won like Rookie of the Year.
Um, I, I as for steals, it's hard, man, because like personally, I kind of stopped watching uh basketball outside the PBA, and maybe sometimes yung UAP level, MVPL, minsan na lang eh. So
Oh, okay.
it's hard to figure out who can translate well to the pros, like see one of my friends, see the great PJ Simon is like the 43rd overall pick.
Yeah.
Like, or si Aaron nga, sabi mo si Aaron, diba?
Yeah.
What is 18th or
Yeah, 18th around
18th,
that
right?
number.
I mean, it's so hard to find somebody who can translate to the PBA game because it's so physical, it's different. The pace is a little slower, but the movements are very explosive. Hindi siya yung parang UAP na tuloy-tuloy, or NPBA na tuloy-tuloy lang siya. So,
Mm.
it's so hard to let you know na who's in steal. Like,
Oh,
for all I know, the guy who was picked in the third round this draft could be the best player in the draft, or what I know, in 3 years. So,
yeah.
yeah, so
So yung draft yan, really impressive yung mga players. And I'm not also sure sino yung magiging steal, pero I'm impressed with a lot of them, even if some of them I've barely watched. As you
yeah.
mentioned, like MVPL, I don't really know, like kumari Nick DeMusis or Taylor Brown.
Yeah.
Never even seen them play in a 5-on-5 game yet. So it'll be fun with this upcoming season and how they'll be able to perform.
Yeah, I think actually, now that I think about it, I've seen Mikey Williams play.
Oh, yeah.
Because he's Chris Ross's friend, so I've seen him play. I think he's the real deal. I think he's gonna be good. But let's just wait and see. But I think he's gonna be good. Good pick, I think, for Torrentex.
I agree with Mikey. I've seen him play in Mighty Sports, the tournament before the pandemic struck the world, and
Yeah,
I think did he win? Like, yeah, I think Mighty Sports won, and Mikey was the starting guard, and he was impressive even with the imports there.
yeah.
So, as I previously mentioned a while ago, that the off season was busy for you guys, and you guys had the major trade, and you guys got CJ Perez into your team. So I just wanted to ask your reaction and how he could bolster the chances of your team, especially you guys got eliminated in the quarterfinals the previous year.
Well, CJ is actually my former quote unquote teammate in Ateneo, because
Yeah.
was he was there for the residency, so nakakasama ko siya. But
Mm.
I know what he can bring. Everybody knows what he can bring. He's like just a unbelievable scorer, very athletic, can attack the rim anytime, right? So I think that's what we need, honestly, because we have all the players that we play around, our star power, right? So si Junmar and all our players, starting five, are all superstars, Hall of Famers, diba? So to have that guy who can just come in and get easy 6-8 points on layups, I think that's already in itself, it's like such a big advantage. So I'm just excited what he can do, and so far I think he's been really handling the transition well. He's always listening to the veterans, and also credit to the veterans kasi sila Alex and Chris Ross and Marshall, even sila Kuya Arwin, uh, they're very welcoming sa mga bago eh. Even when I was new,
Mm.
they were very welcoming. They walang inggitan. They didn't think that, oh, this guys might be, no. It was really about winning, and I think CJ brings that kind of winning mentality, and I'm excited to see what he can do.
Yeah, I agree with your point because Terrence Romeo also, when he was in TNT, he didn't fit well with their team, and then when he joined you guys welcomed him with open arms, and he was willing to accept the sixth man role, and he even won Finals MVP coming off the bench. And I believe that it's really the strength of SMB, even if there's so many superstars or big names, you could still integrate them into a well-oiled machine, as proven even when you guys beat TNT with Terrence Jones in the previous Commissioner's Cup.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
So yung health naman ni Terrence Romeo and ni Junmar Fajardo, people knew that they weren't there in the bubble, and it might have cost you guys to lose, because if they were there, it's pretty evident that you guys wouldn't be eliminated that early. So have they been practicing already with you guys, and do you think they'll be able to play for the following season?
Um. Terrence looks great. Like I think he's back to his normal self. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think the way he works, naman, it's always going to be, he's always going to be all right. So and also with Junmar, I know that he's putting a lot of work in from new reports that I'm hearing from the PTs that train with him. He's already strengthening and everything. So I don't know the exact timetable, but personally as a friend to Junmar, I think Terrence is a go because
Yeah.
he looks like he's ready to go.
Yeah.
Personally, as a friend to Junmar, I don't want to see him come back early. I wanna like even when he's ready, let's I want him to take his time.
Yeah. Let's
Kasi,
be conservative with it.
yes, yes. I mean, he's probably the greatest basketball player of all time in the Philippines. So
Yeah.
you don't wanna like rush him back, diba? You wanna make him when he comes back. You need him to be Junmar Fajardo, not anybody else. So I personally want him to take his time, but obviously the medical staff of San Miguel knows what they're doing, so I trust whatever's gonna happen.
Yeah, I think it's really fine if you shouldn't really rush him first, because you still have Mo Tautu at the center position, and he was playing well in the bubble. I
Yeah.
was impressed with his performance, and yeah, it's really tough, especially now even in the NBA. There's so many injuries just
Yeah.
today. So it might I hopefully that really doesn't happen also in the PBA, because it's fun if it's full
True.
everyone's I don't know, full roster.
Yeah, and you're right about Mo. Mo is legit. He's gonna be legit for the next couple of years and for
For
San
sure.
Miguel. So I'm not really worried about the center position. So when Junmar comes back, parang ano na lang eh. We just have to make him comfortable again, diba? And I'm sure he will be because of how
Yeah.
great he is.
Yeah. Coach Leo will find a way for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So for my previous episodes, I also touch on the upbringing and how you grew up as an individual, because I really like the stories that most athletes have. So it's all unique. It's all this you can all distinguish different things, but you learn a lot also from them. So for you, I just wanted to ask first, what are your activities when you were a child, and was basketball the very first thing you did, or did you do other things like theater or art and music or something?
So when I was younger, I was into swimming. I was competition swimmer ako. And then but I would always play basketball. Like my
On the
dad would
side.
always take me out to
Um,
play basketball. So there was a time where I remember I had a swimming competition on the weekend. It was a Saturday Sunday competition, right? And but there was a tryouts for the SDP. I'm not
oh,
sure if you know that league.
yeah.
So um I had to choose, and I chose to try out, and then nagalit
Oh,
sa akin yung swimming coach ko kasi I committed. I said I was on the roster. I had
yeah.
everything, and then I just didn't show up.
Uh,
So I think from there on, wala na. I just kept going. I got in the team. I started playing all these minor leagues, and eventually, diba, naabot ako. But before that, my dad would always my dad we I never enrolled at any Milo Best or
mm,
any skills camp or
yeah.
wala. Everything I learned how to play, I learned by playing 5-on-5, which my dad brought me to play with anyone, honestly, like employees, security guard, tricycle driver, lahat, kahit na doon ako natuto talaga. And I learned how to yung gulang ko, like kailangan, you can't be too soft. You have
Yeah.
to, but you know what I mean. So I
Yeah.
kind of learned through those. And then I was able to bring it through the varsity teams.
What made you quit swimming, or is it not really? You didn't really. You still wanted to continue, but you just needed to really choose between swimming and basketball already.
Actually, I don't think I really like to swim. Honestly, I think I was just like a fast swimmer as a kid.
Oh,
'Cause I was tall and I was athletic, so uh, but I really like basketball. Like I'd watch NBA all the time. UAP, I'd watch Ateneo all the time. I even watched some PBA. So hilig talaga ako basketball. But when the opportunity presented itself, I couldn't turn it down, so I just kept going.
What age did you stop? Like young pa talaga.
I was a swimmer from 9 to 11. Nine,
Okay.
parang what? No, actually 9 to yeah, mga 10 to 11, 9 to 11. Mga 2 years ako nag-compete talaga. For but kids competitions lang.
Yeah.
But I was yeah.
Did you learn anything na nadala mo pa din sa basketball, like lessons or mentality, focus, ganun?
Honestly, I was so young. I was so young na I don't really remember much of it. But I just remember na I just remember that when I was playing I was playing basketball. I was trying out for this team, right? And then I remember I was just in terms of cardio, I was really in shape because I was swimming a lot.
Mm-mm.
So I would just keep going, keep going, keep going. Di ako napapagod. So I think it really helped a lot.
For sure.
And yun nga, hilig ko talaga basketball. So my mind was in it. If your mind is in it, your body's in it too. So tuloy-tuloy na.
So, kamusta naman yung grade? Di ba you started in Ateneo basketball like varsity since grade school, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Kamusta naman yung stint mo sa grade school and high school? Kasi syempre hindi yun yung mas well-documented or mas pinag-uusapan. So, kamusta naman yung whole experience mo and what could you say were the most memorable experiences?
Well, I started out, as I said nga, my dad would bring me as a kid to play basketball with all these people, right? So I was a point guard. Kasi if I was playing against grown men, of course, I'm the smallest guy,
Yeah.
right? So I
Yeah.
can't really, be big, right? So in grade school, I was tall. Medyo tumangkad ako. I was around 5'6", 5'7" na grade school pa lang. So I was really a big guard. And that was my advantage. I had the guard skill set. I could bring down the ball. I was doing all this stuff, and I was playing against kids who were smaller than me. So my age, diba? So advantage ko talaga yun. So that's why I was able to kind of
Elevate your game, parang ganun.
yeah, exactly. So but as I got a little older sa grade school, and I got to high school, syempre the kids are kind of my height na, but I still kept that guard mentality. And for a while, since I was like I was around I was a 6 footer in like first year high school. So I was parang you know how coaches are here locally. If you're 6 foot or matangkad ka, automatic you're big already.
Advantage, yeah.
Advantage ka, so big man ka na. Don't bring on the ball, don't shoot from the outside, rebound ka na. So I was in a point like that. Then in high school, Coach Jamai Karin,
Yeah.
legendary, Ateneo high school coach, who
Yeah.
until today I still talk to. We're gonna come close.
Mm.
Talagang he really pushed me to be, I don't know, somebody I didn't know how I could be. Talagang every day niya ako pinapagalitan talaga. Like, talagang he really pushed me. And then there was one tournament I remember. It was a summer league tournament, and then he told me before the tournament, I want you to bring down the ball every time. If the ball gets stolen from you, I don't care. Get the ball again, bring it down. If you lose by 20, it's okay. It's your fault. You have to get better. So I was like, man. So I remember that summer, I was I was I was working on my dribbling, my skills. I was working talaga. So there was one game pa nga, I had like 9 turnovers, I think. Like talagang I was really bad. I was losing the ball. These small guards were stealing the ball every time. But no, he kept saying, "De, matuto ka, matuto ka." So doon ako natuto talaga not to kind of be a guard. So in high school, I was not shooting as people might not know, but I didn't shoot a lot in high school. I barely shot 3 pointers, barely. And I was kind of athletic kasi, so I was kind of like a defensive guy, bring down the ball, finish and block shots, get steals. That's my I was like setting up the ball, passing the ball. So that was kind of like I have to credit Coach Mike for that kasi siya talaga nag-push sa akin to be like an all-around player. Like he didn't want me to be somebody lang, ganun lang, or a swingman who can do that. He wanted me to be a guard. He wanted me to rebound. He wanted me to defend. So I think that's when I learned to play the game of basketball the right way.
What do you think he saw in you? Was it more of like the perseverance and fortitude to continue succeeding at the sport? And bakit, why did he focus on you compared to the others?
I think he just saw me as I don't know if it's my attitude or something, but maybe
Mm.
also just my frame. I was a very very lanky, skinny,
Mm.
tall kind of wing guy.
Yeah.
Nakita niya na I can do a little bit of everything, but not really good at one thing. So may sabi ni siguro na ay he probably can do something. So I don't know what he saw in me, honestly. Like, I, if I was the coach and I probably would give up on on me. I don't know if I would, but yun nga, I have to credit him. No, he saw something that I didn't know I could do, and then na tuloy-tuloy na. I guess I just unlocked it with him.
So anong year yung you really felt that you could make it to the collegiate level of UAAP? Was it from the onset, from the first year of high school, or sa may dulo na?
I had my personal doubts about making it any past. I even had my doubts making it to the high school team. Like I didn't think I would even make it kasi ang gagaling ng mga kasama ko eh. Like,
Mm.
and I was so skinny talaga. I was raw. I didn't have any kind of special skill. So when I was after my second year in UAP, so second year high school, tapos in UAP, I had kind of a good season for UAP, kind of decent, right? So that's when Coach Eric Altamirano messaged me to be part of to try out for the under 16 national team.
Oh yeah,
And
yeah,
I was with Kiefer Ravena and Paulo Romero, Kevin Ferrer, Mike Talomia,
yeah,
all these people, all these players who are players now, diba? So
yeah.
I think from there, when nakita ko na in my age group, I belonged to whatever league that my age group was in. I kind of had the confidence that, oh, I can, if I just keep working, if I keep doing this, I think I can go far. So that really helped me out a lot. The experience playing in Singapore, Malaysia, we went to Iran, we went to the States to train. That experience alone, parang kind of gave me, of course, improved me basketball skills wise and physicality wise, but yung confidence na alam ko na, oh, everybody my age, I'm part of the team that made it. So kind of helped me out a lot.
During the tough times when you had doubts with yourself, who helped you and what advice did they give in order to help you continue? Or was it on your own?
My mom and dad would always be there. Especially my dad, because my moms will always support you no matter what, right? But
Yeah.
my dad would give me the hard truth. I would say, like, he would give me some things that tell me some things that I didn't want to hear, but I had to hear it. And he pushed me talaga, like he supported me. He made sure na talagang ready ako for the moment, and he'd never miss, my parents would never miss a game. They would always be there. So I felt that kind of support. Na I'm really fortunate because I know some players don't have that. Some people don't have that in their life. So I'm fortunate about that, and I have a lot to thank for them. That's why until now, I credit talaga yung perseverance nila sa akin and pagkatiwala nila sa akin na, obviously when I was playing basketball, I had to like let go of some priorities like studies, na hindi na ganun ka taas yung priorities ng getting really high grades. So that was a sacrifice in their part to have their child, go through that. So I guess I'm just thankful na they believe that I could make it, and the rest is history.
Yeah, so yung high school stint mo nga, it was pretty good na kasabay mo pa si Kiefer the whole time. And then entering college, did other schools try recruiting you or you already decided that you were gonna go Ateneo pa lang from the start for college?
Yeah, so I think I've said this story in a podcast if I'm not sure where, but I was recruited by UP and San Beda. Lasal also gave me an offer, but I didn't really consider kasi Ateneo ko. I didn't want I didn't want to go
Yeah.
to the dark side.
Yeah.
So, um, but I think I really seriously considered going to UP because the opportunity was there.
Yeah.
I didn't. I was not offered a slot right off the bat,
Mm.
Ateneo, because of the full roster, and they just came off a championship. I can't blame them, right? But
Yeah.
in my perspective, I came off my fourth year. I was part of the national team. I was part of the Mythical Five. We were the champions. We lost one game the whole season, and I was upset that I didn't get a slot right away. I was like, what else do you want me to do? Like,
Yeah.
so I was a little upset with that. So kind of um medyo nag-waiting game ako with them.
Oh.
So I kind of decided na okay, I'm gonna see if I want to go to UP, and I did try that in UP, and Coach Ricky Dandan was the coach.
Mm.
And he offered me the slot right away. He said, if you come here, you're gonna start right away. You're gonna play 20 plus minutes, 30
Yeah.
minutes. I was like, oh, and then napaisip ako, and then um, I was also trying out for San Beda, but I didn't really seriously consider it. I didn't because I wanted to stay in UAP. But
Okay.
so when I think when the management of Ateneo found out that I was trying out for UP for a week now, parang they told me to stop and then just come to Ateneo, and parang they offered me to start right away. So kind of I don't know if it worked. I don't know if it worked na ginawa ko yun, but I was seriously considering transferring. And I'm so glad I didn't because
Yeah.
I don't want to change anything from where I am now, diba? So I'm just glad that I decided to stay in Ateneo, and I was able to parang be proud that I was from grade school, high school, college, when I was at Ateneo.
Yeah. If I was in your position, I'd consider it also because in UP, diba yun yung time na they weren't winning much games and yung team nga nila hindi naman deep. Eh, yung Ateneo, like every year, 10 deep, ganun. So it's harder to crack a slot on the rotation. And then, yeah, in UP, you could showcase your talent more. As you mentioned, Mythical 5 ka nung high school. So
Yeah.
baka pwede ka mag Mythical 5 if you went to UP again. Pero I guess, smart decision pa din yun for you, especially kahit, you weren't that well used it nung first 2 years in Ateneo.
Yeah, true. I think I also kind of didn't want to go to a team where I had the ball all the time because I knew that um, at that point my skill set was so raw. I wasn't talagang honed. I wasn't even shooting a lot of threes that time yet. So I knew that the best place for me to showcase my talent would be in a winning team where I can do like the intangibles, the little things na makikita ng coaching staff. But if I'm syempre in a team that's perpetually like, not really winning a lot, like they're just kind of in the middle, like at UP at that time was like that, right? So I didn't think I would be able to really showcase what I could do because that really wasn't my strength, and I was at my best playing with players that were kind of at my level or better than me. So it turned out well for me na I chose Ateneo.
Yeah. How, in your opinion naman, I asked Anton Asisio also, and I'm not sure if I asked Aaron Black, but I asked them what makes the Ateneo basketball program special. Like, for example, Anton, when he said they won the championship in season 80, I think, when they beat LaSalle, he was happy because like more than half the team or half the team were homegrown talents ever since grade school and high school, I think. And yeah, it's really happy that from your childhood days until collegiate days, you guys were still teammates. So, in your opinion, what's special about the program? And even if you change coaches from Coach Norman to Coach Bo to Coach Tab, like the program's still there and it's still instilled in you guys to stay there in the school.
Good question by the way. I think there's a lot of culture involved. It's the from grade school to high school, you won't really feel it because it's but from high school yun kasi Coach Jamite esteemed coach yun ng development coach, and then from high school to college, you come in, you see all these players that have been playing the UAP, and then you come in if the practice is at 6 o'clock, people are there at 4:30, work lifting weights. Practice ends at 8. People are there until 9, 8:30, 10. Like it's you see it and you're like, wow, I have a lot of work to do, and if you embrace it, like some of the players that I know, teammates that I've known, if you embrace the fact that, wow, I'm so humbled. I haven't proven anything. These guys have won championships, are playing at a high level, and then they're working hard. It gives you this kind of extra boost that, oh, I have to get better. Like I can't just stay where I am. I have to improve. I have to do this, and I think that's the most the continuity part is the one that really helps a lot because you can see like, oh, for me when I was not playing my first 2 years, I took it as an opportunity for me to get better, and those first 2 years, that's when I really worked on my shooting because I knew that I couldn't do all these slashing moves against imports and all these big guys in the UAP. So those first 2 years na hindi ako ginagamit, it was kind of a blessing for me because that's when I really got to look in the mirror and say, okay, I got to change my game. Well, I got to do something. So I remember my first year, the summer of my first year, I must have shot, I would say, 500 to 1,000 shots a day, three pointers.
A lot.
It's a lot of
Yeah.
shots. Like, and my I just remember like thinking, okay, I have to get better at this because in the game I won't be able to get layups or get rebounds or be athletic because the guys that I'm playing against are 22, 23-year-old players. So I won't be able to do this. So I have to be able to be accurate here. So I kind of, it's that kind of thinking that kind of helps the continuity part because if you think that in your first 2 years di ka ginagamit tapos you get disheartened, you can just transfer to another school and then but if you think that, oh, if I stay here, I'll get my time. I'll be the in 2 3 years I'll be the one who is gonna show the younger kids what it's gonna be like. So that really helped a lot.
So in your first 2 years, was it really tough for you, like in terms of your mentality, because you had that UP offer in the back of your mind, and were you ever thinking to yourself na dapat I should have accepted that na lang, and I wouldn't be sitting on the bench when I went there, or talagang you were mature na that you were saying you had the mentality naman eventually of saying that you need to get better, and eventually in your fourth and fifth year you were the one of the main men on the team?
Actually, I'm just talking in hindsight. Like, I don't know if I felt this way when I was younger, but I think when I was younger also, I didn't really think I could make the PBA either.
Oh,
So, parang for me, it was like a blessing for me to play in the UAP kasi I got to see my idols. I got to see, oh, this is where sila idol ko dati, sila LA, sila LA, sila Larry Fonasher, Wesley
yeah.
Gonzalez. Mga idol ko yun eh. So,
Mm.
oh, I'm playing here. Parang it's a big blessing for me na. And the fact na I'm in Ateneo, I get an education, parang I was okay na. And siguro I didn't really think about oh, it's gonna be my time, but I was just kind of working, I was just working, see, oh, let's just see how far I can go, and uh I guess I don't know how I made it, but I made it. So looking back, of course it's easy for me to say na, oh, I was mature, I knew that I was gonna get the time.
Yeah.
But I don't know if at that time I knew that, but I'm just happy that I stuck with it. I had a good support group nga, my parents, my family, even yung coaching staff ng Ateneo. Talagang matyaga sila sa akin. Sila Coach Shandy. Yan, they're very they're very
Committed.
yeah, committed. They were committed to making me better. So I'm thankful for that.
Yeah, I'm really impressed also with your development, because I was checking the stats last night, and grabe nga, parang bigla nung fourth year, naging 26 minutes a game, and then fifth year, 30 minutes a game. So they really saw something in you that they don't see in every Ateneo player, that they really put the hard work in making you better. And maybe it was your attitude. You said that you shoot 500 to 1,000 shots a day. Not everyone has would put the time in and is willing to stay in the gym for that long until they actually make it. So it really went into fruition that you eventually became one of the best players on the team, and then made it to the PBA eventually.
Yeah. Well, thanks for that. But I again, I don't know if I knew that coming in. But I'm just happy that I got to this point now.
How about Coach Norman Black? Because he was your head coach for the first 2 years. What was his effect on you and on the team, and why you believe that the 5-peat was one of the milestone times in Ateneo basketball history?
Actually, the championship was really my best memory of college. Yeah, I know I had some good years last part ko, but that was my best memory of UAP. And Coach Norman, of course, is the leader of that team. I think with Coach, for me, I can't really speak for the team because I was so young. I didn't really know what it was like to be in part of his main rotation. Because he had older guys there, so I was the young guy there. But I remember he'd always tell me to get stronger. He'd always tell me like, he'd always like kind of tell me, if you put more strength in you, you'll be a better player. And at that time, I didn't really know it was so important to be so strong. Pala, like I didn't know because again, I was so athletic coming playing in the varsity levels that I didn't really need to get strong because I could jump high. I had good timing. I had good instinct. So I didn't really work on my strength. So when he when he kind of like I kind of got that from him. Na, oh, I need to get stronger. I need to be able to defend bigger guys and do all this. So I think from there that really helped me out a lot in perspective. And um, he's one of those coaches that is so meticulous with his development program and his practices and his game plan that you kind of admire him for it because
Yeah.
it's like he has everything down and he'll be the first person to mention if there was a mistake in his game plan. If he lost the game and mali and he'll watch the tape, the first moments of film session he'll be the first to admit I was wrong, Malaysia, and that takes a lot. That takes a lot, I think, from from a man
Person.
of
Yeah.
yes, from a person of his caliber to admit na ganun, diba?
Yeah.
And he puts in the work just as much as anybody. Talagang he'll know he wants us to memorize the scouting report. He wants us to execute all the plays. Like he's so particular, and parang I really admired him for that. And I think until now that it's evident, right? He's the coach of Meralco. I mean, for the longest time. For how long has he been coaching
Yeah.
PBA? And for someone to keep their job for that long, they're probably doing something right. So
Yeah, for instance, in Meralco, people don't talk about them. Like, for instance, like in PBA previews entering the season, no one says, oh, Meralco's going to make the finals or Meralco's going to make the semis. But then when you watch their games, you could see that their preparation's really great and really excellent. Like, and even Ginebra
yeah,
was really good in the bubble. And it was Scotty's shot in the end that made them lose. But if Chris Newsom made the three
yeah,
previous possession, they might have made it to the finals, and you never know. They might have won, especially because TNT had the injuries, and it's all because of all. It's not all, but then like a lot of it's also Coach Norman and what how he imparts his knowledge and game plan to the players, and it's evident because yeah, the players on his team they're not always the most talked about or the highly talented players, but then you could see like even Reynald Hugnatan, he was really good, and he's like
yeah,
42 already.
yeah,
it's it's a lot of it also goes to the coach and the coaching staff.
yeah. I agree.
Yeah. So entering season 77 and 78, you mentioned already that you were one of the top guys on the team. Was it more like the coach told you, like Coach Bo, he said na you're the main guy na, or you really needed to earn it first on practice along with yeah, you and Kiefer were the main man in those teams?
Um, Honestly, I just um, I remember like just killing it in the summer leagues and like the um all these other leagues aside from UAP. I just remember like just having a good game every game. I just so I think aside from the fact that I was a senior, I kind of had to earn it too because uh for them to set up plays for me for open 3 point shots means that the point guard has to be in it. The guy who's screening for me has to be in it.
Yeah.
Everybody in the four has to be in it for me to be open, diba? So I think I had to prove that I was. If you give me the ball, I'm gonna make it. So uh, it was I think something that I really kind of focused on. That I really want. I said I really want. Okay, I really want to be the best 3 point shooter in the UAP. I want to be the most accurate. I wanna shoot a lot, but I wanna make a lot also. So um, that was one of my goals, and that especially my fourth year because I was playing with Chris Newsom, Kiefer, and Nico Elorde, who were all the PBA, diba? And they're all very good playmakers.
Mhm.
So I knew that if I could be a reliable 3 point option, I would have a lot of opportunities or minutes in this team. And so that was one of my goals. And in the last part, in the last season of my the UAP season 78 or my last year,
Yeah,
that's
78.
yeah, that's when we didn't have a lot of guys left. Newsom left and Nico Elordi left. So I had to kind of develop more off the dribble stuff and finishing, and that's when I kind of worked on that start. But to answer your question, I think the opportunity for me to present the opportunity for me to showcase what I can do really talagang motivated me to be really to work hard and do all that stuff.
Yeah, with Coach Bo, he's more of a player's coach. Like it's obvious with the Powerade team in the PBA when they reach the finals with Gary David and Marshall, and then in the UAAP now with UP with Kobe, Richie, one, and they've flourished in on their own way. And you mentioned in your first 2 years na you felt na mas maganda if you were in a system and you develop your game with the intangibles and the small things first before the bigger aspects of the game. But in their fourth and fifth year, you were already one of the main guys, and then he was a player's coach. So,
Yeah.
what could you say more? Could you say what could you say more about your experience with him and how it made you become a better player in the PBA?
First of all, you're right that he's a player's coach. You're right. Like he's,
Mm.
if there was ever a dictionary definition of a player's coach, siya yun. Kasi
Yeah.
like he'll really
Mm.
give you the confidence. And I remember I had a conversation with him because he was our coach in my third year, and we didn't make the playoffs that year, right? And Whammy Chongson left, Ryan Buenafe and Paul
Uh,
Aram left already. So konti lang naiwan sa team na yan. And he was like telling me, you can go pro. Kaya mo PBA. He was like
mhm.
telling dapat mo PBA ka, parang ganon. And for me, I never really thought of it. Again, I didn't think I would go far. So I was like, really? It's like, yeah, you can make the PBA. Parang I was like, really? Okay. Parang in my mind, I was like, okay, that's cool. So in a way, I was ready. At that point, that was the first time I really started focusing watching PBA. Because until that point, I was just very sparingly watching PBA, UAP, NBA. I would watch NBA, UAP a lot kasi yun yung competition ko eh. But I watched PBA but not like talagang
Yeah.
that summer, that fourth year ko, I remember I would watch every PBA, almost every PBA game every night. Parang I would just watch and see
Mhm.
how could I be in this league, you know? And what came to my realization is, well, okay, for me to be here, I have to be the most accurate 3 point shooter in the country. I have to like that should be my goal. I can't it can't it, if I fall short of that goal, at least it's, you know, if you aim for the trees, if you aim for the stars, if you fail, that way you hit the trees, diba? So
Uh,
parang that was my goal, and parang Coach Bo kind of really instilled me the mindset to be a pro. He was like, okay, if I come see you, if I'm a coach and I come see you play, you have to be able to show me something that I want you to be part of my team. And that's what's like, oh, all this time I was thinking, oh, I have to be a team player, I have to be this, I have to be that. And I realized, oh, to be a pro, you have to be a little selfish because you have to be a little individualistic to show your skills, right? So he kind of like unlocked that in me na, that when it's time to play, you show what you can do, and that kind of helped me out even till now as a pros na, you know, ganun talaga pag pros, diba? It's output based, you know. If you don't perform well, it's your fault. It's not
yeah.
anyone else's fault. So
Yeah.
that's what kind of he kind of showed me.
Yeah, in your last 2 years, yun yung mas naalala ko kasi. And it was really tough for you guys because you guys got eliminated by two heartbreaking games in the final four. So how would you distinguish or discern like the journey of the season 77 and 78? Because the first one was NU and Aroga's block on Kiefer. And yeah, Ray didn't play already in that year. He played the previous year where he won like MVP, I believe. And people thought they would be weaker because they lost Ray, but they actually won the championship. Or was it more of the what was it tougher compared to the 78 one with Mac Bellos stepped in because it was your last game ever as an Atenean. So
Yeah,
what could you say about the journey of both and how would you compare
yeah. Thanks for reminding me, man.
it?
You know, I, to break it, I want to kind of break it down because those were two championship teams that we lost to. So at the end of the day, of course, I feel bad, but at least we lost to the champions. You know,
Okay.
at least we
Yeah.
lost to the best team in the UAP. So
Yeah.
that second year, I'm that year against NU, we were 12-2. We were number one. NU was number four. But our two regular season losses were against NU.
Oh, malas. Yeah.
Malas. But
Yeah.
it was because our best five at that time was Nico Elorde, Kiefer, me, Newsom, and Fonso Cotadera. We played small ball. That was our best five. Their best five was Alolino, um, I think it was Havilona,
Yeah. Cobuntin,
Cobuntin,
Rosario.
Rosario, and Aroga.
Yeah, it's all big.
So me, Newsome, and Fonso had to
Yeah.
match up with Cobuntin, Rosario, and Aroga.
Yeah.
That was tough. They
Yeah.
crashing the boards, posting us up. It was hard, man. It was hard.
Yeah.
So we lost. We had twice to beat. We lost. Okay, accepted. Whatever.
Mm.
Next year, my last year, we were number 4. FU was number 1, and we did not beat FU. Also, we lost to FU twice. We
Yeah.
had no chance, and that team was stacked. Like pros on pros. Mac Bello was
Yeah.
there. Colomia, Pogoy, Jose.
Yeah.
Um, what's his name? I forgot. All these other guys that made the
Yeah.
PBA. So I think that kind of like cemented my last 2 years, because I was like, I don't know what you want to do. Like
Yeah.
these are championship teams that we're playing against. I don't know what else can we do. So hats off to them. They earned it. NU and FU earned their championships that year, and malas kami nakatapat. But at the end of the day, that's basketball, diba? It's you don't like to match up your played against. You have no choice. You have to play against. So
Yeah, at least you guys really gave your all. I watched both of those games and talagang breaks of the game lang yung Adrian Wong could have made the layup and nanalo pa kayo. You never know kung dun sa next game panalo din. Baka kayo yung nag-finals against
yeah.
UST yata, I think, worth the
Yeah.
finals opponent. So, I think, I don't know, hindi lang talaga meant to be. But yeah.
Yeah, I think you're saying, okay, you had enough championships. It's enough.
Oh, God, because you had two na earlier in your career. Yeah. So, nung high school and college, actually even grade school, high school and college lang, you were close with Kiefer ever since. Na kayo yung parang dynamic duo. It's really tough to stop you. Like, if you were a wing defender from the other team, you wouldn't want to play Ateneo at any day. Because if they'd switch, it would either be on you or Kiefer. So,
Yeah.
kamusta naman yung relationship nyo ever since you were a child and until now? I don't know how your relationship has developed. And nakakatawa lang, I searched also na you guys had a scuffle nga pala nung sa
Yeah.
Cuneta when it was San Miguel and Lex. And yeah, I just wanted to mention that because it was
Yeah.
funny. But yeah, how was your relationship with him?
I think people are always thinking about that stuff, but
Yeah.
to be honest with you, we fought so many times in practice, and like it's like if you're good friends with somebody, it's like, especially in basketball, it's inevitable that you're gonna get in fights, because you're two competitive guys. You wanna compete with us. So I think with that, uh, he was just above IQ, above anybody else sa age group namin. Talagang his skill level, aside from the fact na he had good genes with his parents being athletes, diba? Like, yung skill level niya tsaka IQ niya ang taas talaga. So, I learned a lot from him. Yung mga moves na ginagawa niya nung bata kami, ay ginaya ko rin, diba? In my own way. So, I think with Keith, we had this kind of we were same age. We were born the same age, so we were playing with each other in the national team, Ateneo, all the leagues that had whatever age, we'd be together. So I think the chemistry was there. We'd have this thing where if one of us gets the rebound, one of us will forward the ball to him. We'll catch it before it lands. Pass it back. Before the other one lands, we'll pass it back, and then we'll have like a fast break where walang dribble, layup, like some of those things na I remember fondly, kasi like we did it all the time, like, and I think was really, it's nice to see us go this far, and compete against each other in the pros, because all this time kami magkakampi sa now we're competing against each other, and we kind of essentially play the same position, not really, but
Sort of, yeah.
But like there are times where we guard each other, and then it's not there's nothing to it. It's people fight all the time. It's not
Yeah, Kiefer is just very competitive. I've seen it like any game. Talagang kahit si Polly, like they're super close now. Kahit siya yung katapat niya sa PBA, like the LX Magnolia game in the bubble was really competitive. And then after the game, sa hotel yata they drank wine pa together. So it's really on the court lang na he's really competitive with the game.
Yeah.
So moving on to your PBA career, we thought I want to touch a bit on your Globalport stint, because Coach Bo really said that you were already ready to be in the pros as early as fourth year college. But moving on to Globalport, you weren't that used compared to the other guards because it was Stanley Pringle and Terrence Romeo lang naman. Pero I think it maybe, in my opinion lang naman, based from your story, that in your first 2 years in Ateneo, maybe it helped you that you weren't used a lot yet, and you were already mature at this time since you were already an adult compared to when you were a rookie and a sophomore in Ateneo. So how was the stay there, even if it was not that long? And what were some of the things you learned from either your coach or Terrence and Stanley?
A good point about Globalport kasi when I got drafted there, I was like, man, I have to play behind Terrence and Stan, like probably top guards in the league, right? So,
Yeah.
But actually, um, it kind of it kind of fit well with me because I ended up playing the three position with them a lot. I ended up playing we kind of played like a three guard lineup. How it's like how we play in San Miguel now sometimes, right?
Yeah.
Um, so with that, I remember Mike Cortez was in that team, and
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I personally I hated Mike Cortez as a basketball player because
Lasal eh.
no, because also not just because every time you play Ateneo, he'd murder us. Like
Oh.
so good, like sobrang
Yeah.
galing niya na
Mm.
hindi ko talaga siya gusto when I was a kid, of course, but of
Yeah.
course as a pro, siya yung naging parang ka-close ko sa team kasi he's like the OG guy.
Yeah.
And I was the young guy. He was always teaching me what to do. And he would siya yung off the bench na point guard and ako yung off the bench na wing guy. So malagi kami magkasama. And he would always tell me in practice. And of course, he's a vet, right? He's not gonna go hard in practice. So
For sure.
he'd always tell me na, okay, whoever is more active in practice, you guard him. So if Terrence is more if today Terrence is feeling good and he's doing all these moves, I'll guard him. If today Stanley's the one who's doing all this other
Yeah.
all that stuff,
Yeah.
ako yung babantay. So there was never an off day for me in practice na I could like there was a day I remember Terrence I think was kind of hurt or like he was masakit yung tuhod niya but he was going through it. And I was guarding him and then I remember thinking to myself, oh man, I know 100% sure Mike's gonna tell me to switch. So the next I switched, so I had to guard Stan. So like that really helped me out a lot because it showed me like, wow, I'm not at all in their level to be able to guard them. So
Yeah.
I had to focus in. But in those Globalport years, I think one of the biggest takeaways for me was that I have to be ready every game. That's the one that Coach Franz Pamaran and Coach ko.
Oh, okay. Mm.
And he would put me in at weird times of the game. Like he would minsan nilagay niya ako hindi niya ako ipapasok buong game. And he put me in the fourth quarter, last 8 minutes. And like I'm shaking. I'm a rookie, you know. But so, I had to play through it, you know, and that helped me out a lot. Like I don't know if he did it on purpose. I'm sure he did because he's like a genius, right?
Yeah. He is. Yeah.
So he did it. He kind of was trying to testing me all the time, and I think I proved myself in most of the times that he tried to test me, which kind of like caught the eye figure of some teams, especially San Miguel, right? And I remember, I don't know if this is related to how I got to San Miguel, but every time I played San Miguel, I had a good game. Like I had 3, 4 threes all the time.
Yeah.
I had a good game every time. So I think maybe that could have helped a lot. Now that's why they got me. But who knows? I'm just thankful that I was able to have the opportunity to play in Globalport, even if I was in the same position as their best players, diba? And credit to Terrence and Stan, they trusted me a lot. You know, if you watch some of my highlights, mostly pass nila eh. They're
Catch
passing
and shoot ka.
yeah, and shoot. So the fact that they trust me means a lot to me, and it helped me out a lot talaga.
Yeah. Personally, I think it's really tough for shooters because you guys wanna get warmed up or something. Pero pag yung coach mo, pinasok ka, parang it's hard to get your rhythm right away. But maybe Coach Franz, maybe his theory was like, pag struggling yung offense namin and then si Von and Jan, I'll put him in. Baka he can make 2 3s, 6-0 run ka agad yun and slice the lead or yung lead lalaki if pinasok ka. So maybe that was his theory. And yeah, I've seen a couple of games where you were good nga in Northport or Globalport. And then I was asking myself why they were making you play. Pero I realized na baka ayaw niya ng 3 guards all the time.
Yeah.
So yeah, maybe that's why you got also traded to San Miguel because San Miguel really saw something in you na mas babad ka and you had a better role there.
Yeah.
So kamusta naman yung reaction mo when you got traded? Were you surprised? Were you happy? Were you sad? I don't
I was happy, man. I was like, "What? I'm
know.
going to the best team in the league. Oh, I'm ready. Like, I was so happy to be traded. Like, I think it's the only time that anybody can be happy to be traded if you're getting traded to a championship team, right? So I was really happy. I was excited. I was a little nervous. Like, oh man, these guys are superstars. I was really, really, really excited to be part of whatever they have there. And luckily, I had a relationship with some of the players. Na like, si Chris Ross
Mm.
was, and si Alex and Marshall. We work out with the same trainer, si Diego.
Oh,
So
okay. Yeah.
parang I worked out with them before, and they kind of knew me, and um I think I was a little intimidated at first to be part of the whole. Medyo culture shocked ako kasi these guys are, man, these are
Yeah.
all-time greats, Hall of Fame
Veterans na.
vets, diba?
Yeah.
Like the way they approach practice and games, ibang iba talaga. Like, it's different. They have nothing to prove. They literally won, I think, what, 5, 6, 7 championships.
Dami na. Yeah.
Diba? So I was a little nervous, but again, as I said previously, they're so welcoming of new players. Na I didn't feel at all na there was animosity or like towards me or anything. There was, in fact, na they wanted me to succeed. They wanted me to be good. So I think that culture also, until today, like now, CJ's there. We all welcomed him because the veterans welcomed us when we came in. So we should do the same, diba? So again, the culture, malaking bagay yung culture sa basketball program.
Yeah. You mentioned also yung culture ng San Miguel and yung culture ng Ateneo kanina. Tapos yung pagiging good role player mo, I really wanna focus on that also. Kasi sabi ni Coach Sandy sa channel ni Mikey when he interviewed him recently na yung Ateneo basketball program, in his opinion, yung coaching staff nila, they train the players in order to do their roles really well na hindi necessarily superstar
Yeah.
players pero yung roles nila nagagawa nila like kunwari nga daw in Gilas it's harder because they're all from other schools and then they're not the super either they are the superstars in their own schools pero when they're all in Gilas it's harder for Coach Tab and the coaching staff to make them accept the roles even if it's smaller basta mag-excel sila like he was explaining how Mike Nieto excels in his role because he knows na he crashes the board, shoots open threes, and all the intangibles. But he doesn't need to do ISOs and clear outs in the top of the key. He knows he'll never do that 0% of the time. So do you think ren na yung culture ng Ateneo and yeah, additionally yung culture ng San Miguel helped you as an individual to accept the role player off the bench role pero still excel like yeah yung game that you didn't miss a three. You were really great in that game, and you didn't expect I feel to score 25 in that game.
Yeah. Um, good question.
Yeah.
I think a lot about culture is, again, as I said, continuity. Like, if you notice Ateneo, continuity. The coaches may change, but the coaching staff relatively the same. Like, coaches have been there 15, 20 years. Same as San Miguel. Coaches, like, these coaching staff have been in San Miguel for 15, 20 years, diba? So when you have those people teaching people that are coming in, they kind of they preach the long term, not just the short term. Because if imagine if you're a assistant coach and you have a 3 year stint, right? You're not gonna think about 5 years from now or 3 years from now because you might not be there. Like, but if
Yeah.
you know that you're gonna be there in the coaching staff and you're part of it, you're gonna teach the kids that, oh, you might not be able to succeed short term, but if you keep working long term, something might happen. So dun pa lang sa continuity aspect of it, embraces the culture of the team. And if you look at like the NBA, like Golden State,
For sure.
like Steph Curry, they signed all their players to extensions, right?
Mhm.
They brought back Sean Livingston, they brought back Pachulia,
Yeah.
they brought back all these people that have been part of their team, and
Yeah.
that in itself like shows that, oh, if you are committed to what you do, no matter how small a role you play, we will keep you, and you will be part of this culture. So that's the same thing with Ateneo and San Miguel. I think like we have the especially as for now for San Miguel speaking, we they we stick out with our roster. You know, the Death Five people are always saying they're old. For me, they're not old because
Yeah.
they're still in shape.
Yeah.
Like if you put them against anybody in the league, I'm sure they'll be at par or better than them in anything. So I think the fact that the management and the coaches are always preaching like, no, let's keep this together. We have something good going. Let's keep it together. It instills kind of a confidence in everyone to play the role, and that's when I come in. You know, and I know that I'm not gonna come in the game and call for a top pick and roll and shoot a step back three. You know, I'm not gonna
Yeah.
like do that. I probably get benched the next game. But
Subbed out. Yeah.
yeah, so I'm not gonna do that. But what I can do is I'm gonna space the floor. If I'm open, I'm gonna shoot it. If not, I'm gonna swing it. On defense, I'm gonna guard. I'm gonna pressure the ball. I'm gonna crash the boards. I'm gonna guard the guards. I'm gonna guard whoever I have to guard. And that in itself, I think can help a team, especially if they're trying to win, because not everybody can be the star player, diba? Not everybody. Somebody has to be the guy who's gonna take a step back. And for me, taking a step back is actually my game. That's really like if I'm on the court and I'm not getting the ball, I think that means I've done my job. That means it's a 4-on-4 game. That means that my guy's not helping. That means that Junmar
Yeah.
has 3 people to worry about now. I 4 people to worry about now,
Yeah.
or Marshall has 4 people. So Mo has either a single coverage or a double team. You can see the open man, right? So I think something like that is kind of lost in the game today because people are so highlight oriented.
Yeah, for sure.
They want 20 points. They
Yeah.
want look at him, he behind the back, step back, all that. People, I think sometimes people lose like the essence of having roles in the team, which is understandable because most people that watch Naman aren't really like so focused like maybe you and me who are watching everything, you know. And that's what I kind of play for is like the I don't know whatever percentage of people that see what's happening, you know, and those are the people that will pay me to play basketball. Those are the people who will help me out in basketball. So I'll play that way for as long as I can.
That's a really great answer. I agree with your point, and I could, from a fan's perspective, I could see how, based from your explanation, I could see how it's really applied in the game from a fan's perspective. Even if I'm not part of the team of Ateneo or San Miguel, I can really relate it based on your explanation. That's a really great answer. So yung si Coach Leo naman, he was a coach of Adamson when you were, I think, in Ateneo. And when even now in San Miguel, he could really manage so many, like they say nga, superstar egos. Is it really just him that does the culture that you mentioned, or talagang meron ba siyang secret na ginagawa that makes you guys buy in, even with new players such as Terrence, Mo, now CJ, or coaching staff yan, like cohesive talaga yung whole organization in doing that thing you mentioned in the previous question?
I think with coach, first of course he has nothing to prove. You know, he's won so many championships. Like if anybody's doubting how good he is, syempre it's helping you doubt facts about championships. So I think with him, one of I said this in the podcast before also. I think one of his biggest skills, in my opinion, is the fact that he has he just lets us go and lets us play, which is I
Mm,
think it's hard for a winning coach, a championship coach, for to lower his pride sometimes and kind of just let the players do what they do, you know. And I think that's what some coaches some coaches here are always criticized about. They're always for everything, right? But um, for him, he always looks at the bigger picture, diba? He always wants us to. He looks out for us as people also, you know. Hindi siya lang for basketball, diba? And
yeah.
I think we have to thank him for that because not everybody can do that. Can kind of let us go, diba? And with we have so many superstars in our team, diba? So it's first of all, it's hard enough to manage one superstar. To manage
For sure.
five, six, seven, eight
Yeah.
superstars, it's another task, diba? So I don't know how he does it. I don't know if he does anything special, but it's working. And I guess there's if it's not broken, don't fix it, right? So
Yeah, for sure. I'm impressed because people sometimes don't put him in the same level as Tim Coe, Norman Black, Yang Yao. But then with his accomplishments, as you mentioned, he has nothing left to prove. And
yeah,
he's really one of the best coaches, even if it looks like, and it doesn't, from the casual fans' perspective or the people that don't really see his strengths as a coach or his assets as a coach. And yeah, I think people should notice him more with his way of coaching San Miguel.
yeah.
So as we move towards the latter part of the interview, towards the end, I wanted to ask lang for you personally, what have you been working on in this off season? Are you like since you mentioned you do the jump shots, a lot of your jump shooting, are there any other aspects of your game that you want to improve entering this season, even if it might not start on time?
Yeah. So right now, I think I've established myself as a shooter now. So I think what I'm really working on now is more on defense, more on off the dribble shots now. So I'm working on a lot of I'm actually watching a lot of film in my room while I'm working out. I'm watching old games just
Mm.
to see how I moved before, and I've gained around 15 pounds of, I don't know, I would say I'm still trying to be solid in it, you know. And I my strategy towards this season was to gain weight coming into the season and slowly lose it as the season as palapit yung opening. And it's that's because I don't want teams to post me up, to guards
Yeah,
to, I want to be able to guard 1 to 3.
for
And
sure.
yeah, so I want to be able to guard point guards to big wings. So for me to do that, I have to be really strong. I have to be fast, but have more weight than how I did before. And it was really really a challenge for me because I measure my weight every day. It's hard. I have to make sure na talagang tama yung ginagawa ko. And um, so that's the physical aspect. And I watch a lot of films, so I watch a lot of tendencies now, because I remember actually Mike Cortez told me about this. He said he watches film if they're playing, example, they're playing against Meralco the next day. He's watching the last two Meralco games at home, so he can see who he's guarding, what their tendencies are, what the rotation is, what who might be in when he's in, something like that. So that's what I'm trying to do now. And basketball wise, I knew I've always had a dribble off the dribble game. I've showcased a little bit of it in the bubble, but I think I still need to be able to define it more, and I want to be able to have moves off the catch. So it's a shot fake, um, dribble right, dribble left, jump shot, layup, floater,
Yeah.
all that stuff. So trying to work on that stuff, and I think now it's not just about it's one thing to practice, one thing to apply it. So it's something that I'm trying to work on, which I hopefully magawa ko. At least yung the defense part is actually defense is the most priority, because I would rather catch and shoot naman on offense no matter what. So on defense, I want to be able for the coaching staff to look at me and say, okay, we can put him in against the best player, or we can put him in for at least 4 5 minutes, 6 minutes stint na wala tayong mawawala defensively. So that's what I'm working on now.
Yeah, personally, I like your answer because I think sila Matt Barnes in their podcast also, they say na yung mga young players now, they don't really watch a lot of basketball anymore. Or si Redick, then JJ Redick also, he says that yung mga age bracket niya, they watch a lot of film. And it's really important pa rin. Like, naging issue nga when Anthony Edwards said that he doesn't watch basketball, that he just plays. But then now it's fine because he's already scoring 20 to 30 points a game. But then before he came into the league, they were like, parang yabang-yabang naman ito. Parang,
Yeah.
well, he doesn't want to study the tendencies of his opponents. Pero I feel it's super important, lalo na in this generation, available yung source na sa search mo lang sa YouTube where your team gives it to you. Tapos naka-breakdown na kung ano yung weaknesses and the strengths ng opponents, ganun. So it's really with you guys na the resources to study. It's really just your willingness and if you really want to do it. So I like it that and I appreciate na you do that pa rin para gumaling ka pa din. And even if you're in San Miguel and you're winning championships, you don't like stop there and
Yeah.
not work as hard anymore.
Yeah. It's really I think you can't be stagnant as a pro.
Yeah.
kailangan you have to be finding the next aspect to get better in it, or at least if it's improving something that you already have, at least you're getting better at that part, so if you're the moment you get stagnant, I think it's the moment that teams might look at you and say, okay, we can move on from him. But if you keep giving something new to the team, or at least giving having being more solid in that role, I think that's something that all pros should be looking at to do.
Yeah. If you're stagnant and you don't improve, you might not be in the PBA for a long time.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
Yeah. So for the last few questions, these are questions I ask everyone, also from all my guests, and it's just not related to your game or personally anymore. But for the first one, I just wanted to ask, like, the NBA was very active with social issues in the bubble. They were very vocal with all the George Floyd killing, Jacob Blake. And in my opinion lang naman, the athletes here in the Philippines, they're not as vocal as the ones in the US. So maybe it's really the culture then and all the other aspects. But in your opinion, do you think athletes here could be more vocal and use their platform to help Filipinos become more aware of social issues and become more aware of, like, here in the pandemic, madaming social issues na nangyayari, and some tweet a lot or say a lot of things, even if they're not that educated, tapos minsan tweet lang ganyan, they're not as knowledgeable also. And also it's because it's upcoming elections na for next year. And I
Yeah.
wanted to ask lang your opinion on that, if athletes could become more vocal and because they can amplify their voice for their fans or followers, baka maturuan nila yung mga followers nila on
Yeah.
these issues and it will help them.
Yeah, I agree. Of course, as athletes, we're especially in the Philippines, basketball players are looked up to, right? So
Yeah, for sure.
we all we kind of know that in a way, diba? But I think it's a little difficult for people to be, especially players, to be put in a position to be have a stand in the Philippines, okay? Because if you compare it to the states, player empowerment movement, right? So
Oh yeah,
people players have power. They can get traded when they want to. They can sit out when they want to. Culturally, it's also part of their culture to be freedom of speech. Say what you want. Nobody should hold it against you, right? And culturally, that's their stigma, right? And geographically, also, the states is a huge country, diba? Like you could meet somebody and not see him ever again in your whole life,
yes, for sure.
diba?
Yeah,
So here in the Philippines, it's a little different because our culture is we're very shy, timid people, diba? We're not really outspoken. And geographically, it's a small world, especially basketball. Like um, some players, you would definitely, if you meet somebody in the basketball world, you will definitely hear about them or meet them again
for sure.
in one way or another. If you're both in it, you're gonna. So it's kind of hard for players to put themselves in a stand. I think. Of course, I'm defending us, right? Of course,
Yeah, for sure.
it's difficult to put yourself out there, and then all of a sudden that person that would have given you a contract or given you something that you might have needed for your family would be the same person that you talked against. Like it's very deep. It has a lot of cultural implications also.
For sure. Yeah.
It's not something that I am against. I think that if there's a platform for players to talk, I think we should do it. I think for the most part, PBA players have done it naman to the issues that have been very serious naman. Um, it's just that I don't think we can compare it to the NBA or the States because it's a totally different world in that country, and you can say something and nobody will take it against you. But here, of course, there's always implications. So I think there's a fine line, and I hope one day that we will be able to do that also. But at the same time, I also know that it's part of our culture to be kind of this way. So kind of like a in between mix. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a really great answer. I agree with everything you said there. So for the next one, this is from All the Smoke. I'm not sure if you watched that podcast with Matt Barnes and Steven Jackson. They asked their guests towards the end, who are five people you'd want to have dinner with, dead or alive, like yung formal dinner with wine, mga ganun. Who would you choose?
Interesting. Okay, so first number one is Dirk Nowitzki because that's my idol. I
Okay, yeah,
I just admire how his game, his stature, how he carries himself.
yeah,
Um, I do Dead or Alive, right?
Yeah, that.
Dead or Alive. So I do wanna talk to Jose Rizal
So
and
many
hope
people answered Jose Rizal, like from Ateneo, like sila Danny, Raveda, sila Anton,
yeah,
they also answered Jose Rizal.
I do wanna talk to him because
Yeah,
from what I know he's like a small person or something or like
yeah, he is.
and he was yeah there was and he they said that he was very like parang shy or something. I don't know, something like that. So I don't know how he was able to make like a transcendent piece. So I wanna
Yeah.
talk to him. So that's another one.
Ooh, yeah.
Um I think I would want to talk to Barack Obama too.
Yeah,
I
a lot of people said him also. Yeah.
yeah, I would want to talk to him. I'd want to talk to I think he's one of the most influential people. Like I just
Mhm.
want to see pick his brain and stuff, diba, and see this is a little bit random, but I do want to talk to Charles Barkley.
Charles Barkley.
I do want to talk to him because
Yeah.
I think he's one of those people that you know for a fact that he'll tell it how it is.
Yeah, for
And,
sure. The
and
truth talaga.
yeah, and that's something that's so hard to find in anyone. Yeah,
Yeah,
so
for sure.
parang
Yeah.
I it's refreshing to talk to. And I think for the last one, let's keep it basketball. I do want to talk to Steve Kerr because I think he this is just basketball, not really as a person, right? But he had those stretches in his career where he wasn't really the most talented, right? But he's the best efficiency 3 point shooter, and I think that's
In
something
history. Yeah.
in history, right? So
Yeah.
that's something that I really want to ask about because his what he did even for San Antonio when he was older, of course for the Bulls, diba? But
Yeah.
like yung stage na yun, that's the hardest stage of a pro to be like not really knowing if you're gonna come in the game, tapos papasok ka, and then so I
Uh,
kind of talk to him about that. So I think that's a good list, right?
yeah, that's a great list. I think it's really good compared to the others. The others kasi they're like kahit sino na lang or they didn't know na who to put. They just said
Yeah,
I
yeah,
forgot some of the answers na kasi it's a hard question daw. Parang ang dami nilang gustong makasama for dinner.
yeah,
So
yeah, yeah.
it's really tough to only choose five of the best. For sure, that's a great list. I really like it. So for the last question, for all it's also from all the smoke. Who would you want to see on this podcast, or who would you suggest that I could invite also here to have a great story like what you shared for this past hour?
Um, I think well, he's one of my closest teammates. See Chris Ross. I think he's especially with regards to social issues. Tsaka this is experiences in life and basketball. I think he'd be a great guest. I think uh I think someone from like Nico Elorde would be a good guest because he came from LaSalle, transferred to Ateneo. So I think that's a lot of you would have a lot of content with that. Um, as far as I'm picking my friends, right?
Yeah, of course
But
lah. Pwede
yeah,
naman.
yeah. So I think Chris Newsom too.
Oh yeah.
Chris Newsom would be interesting because
Yeah.
um not a lot of Phil Ams who are superstars now went to college, and he did that, and he's my batchmate, he's my blockmate. So I see him we go to school every day, and he finishes his studies here in the Philippines. So that's kind of unique, I think.
For sure.
Most Phil Ams come here to play basketball, diba? So but he came here, he has an education here, and then so I think that's those people are would be good.
Yeah. It's also really good that I also tackle like other sports also like a lot of my guests are basketball. That's also my favorite sport, but I've also tried other sports, but I haven't really invited a lot of guests yet that
Yeah.
aren't basketball. So yeah.
Yeah, but I just want to say like, I'm just thankful that you have a platform too because uh some people have ideas but not people have pushed through with it, and I know it's difficult to start something that not a lot of people will know about or watch yet, right? But it's good that you have this base already, just to, just so you can see where this goes, right? And then see what happens. I think you're a good interviewer. You have good questions. You have good knowledge about what's happening here. So
Yeah.
more power to you, man. I hope that you get more guests and just keeps going on.
Yeah. So I want to thank you also for joining me, even if even if I didn't really, what do you call this? I didn't really contact you, like I contacted you like Feb, I think, but
Yeah,
then you still replied even if I had a tough time because I didn't really have any connections, but you still
yeah,
replied and you were willing to come into the podcast, even if it really took kind of long, but you really shared a lot of stories and you really inspired me. But I hope you also inspire a lot of the other people that will watch this. And thank you so much. Do you have any final message or?
um I didn't go on your podcast because taga Lasal ka. Hindi, joke lang. Joke lang, joke lang. No, but yeah, I think to everybody who's gonna watch this, especially mga like younger people, I think if you have like a passion, just go for it, no matter what it is. It doesn't matter if it's sports or I don't know, painting or I don't know what it is. I think you should just go for it because again, in my experiences, I did not expect me to get this far. Talaga, really, the very truth of it is, I did not even expect to make it to the UAP. So, the fact that I'm here, I'm so thankful and grateful and humbled na nakaabot ako dito. So, to all the young guys who might be watching this, just keep going, keep working hard. You never know where you will be, or even if you don't make it, you never know what doors it will open. So just keep working, guys. And again, to you, man, I more power to you. I hope you get more guests and just message me anytime. I'll try to help as much as I can. So thanks a
Yeah.
lot. I had fun sharing stories and stuff.
Thank you again. And
Right.
lastly, is it okay if we take a picture if that's fine with
Yeah,
you?
sure.
Okay.
How do you want it? Anything?
Here, I'll screenshot here. One, two, three. Okay, I think it's good now. So thank you so much again, Vaughn, for
Okay,
joining me here in the podcast, and good luck on the upcoming season, and stay
sure.
safe, especially with the rising cases now, COVID.
Okay, stay safe.
Yeah.
See you soon.
Bye. Thank you.